Hey guys, welcome back to Paint with Josh. Today we have a very serious, very gorgeous, very touching piece to do, and no jokes about it. Let's get right to it, and let's do it just like this. Holy moly, here we are putting on our liquid clear on this very, very, very special canvas tonight. So this one is for Eternity, and I'm leaning toward calling it Eternity's Bridge. I don't know what the client is going to call it, but really cool little scene. Took a couple little moons out here, popped in our light source with our acrylic, went over it 2 or 3 times, making sure our center is going to be the very brightest. Put in our little path over here, let it dry, and now we've covered it with our Bob Ross liquid clear. You can use linseed oil as a replacement, but liquid clear looks just like this. Now it's time to add our colors, right? So we gotta make this galaxy shine with pinks and purples and all sorts of gorgeousness. But at the very center, we're gonna get a little of our Indian yellow. And I'm talking about a little teeny tiny little bit, right? The smallest little bit you can ever get. And we're not gonna put it dead center. We're gonna go right out on the edge, right out here, along its, extending however long your arms extend. And then we're gonna go around it in a circle, right? We wanna have enough paint on the brush that it'll show, there we go, starting to get that golden bit around the edge. And we want to spread it thinly enough that it's not so super bright, right? If it's overly bright, then it's not going to do us any good. Now, once we start adding light or white to this, it's going to brighten up and start to extend. So let's maybe take this color down a bit, right? Maybe take it up a bit. And the less that's on our brush and the more that we spread it out, the thinner and the more faint it's going to appear when we start to hit it with our white paint, right? So let's spread it out like that. Let's go right into our madder carmine color, and let's get a good amount of color on the brush. Because I did it in a little tester last night, and we didn't use that much color. I was trying to spread it out, keep it real dark, and it ended up being almost too dark. And so we're gonna add a little extra color in here, and we're gonna spread it, because we know we're gonna add one more as well. And let's start to intermix these guys. When you get that yellow into the pink, let them intermix. We'll have this gorgeous little color over here. Take the same amount. Let's put it up around the tip top. Spread it out. I'm gonna try to miss my little planets because I don't want them necessarily to all be the same color as our sky and our clouds, right? So we'll mix it in, scrub it, push it, mush it. Any little bit of stars that we had once turned a certain color, painted with our acrylic, are now gonna turn whatever color you put over them, right? So if you want to leave them, and we're going to spray in some real bright ones anyway, but don't really worry about it too much. Let's not get too much paint on the canvas, but let's get enough of it out there. All right, we're going to go into our dioxazine purple right over the tip top of everything. Don't have to clean our brush one time. Throw some of that purple on real heavy though. The purple you got to be heavy with, right? If it's not heavy, it's not going to show. So it's going to look very, very bland if you don't pile that purple paint on there. So I get the dioxazine purple from Gamblin, get it at Michael's, and it's a fantastic little paint. I love the color ever since I was doing classes with Tanisha, and then Bram came the first time we did classes. He came and stopped by and checked it out, and we were talking about this dioxazine purple, and I had never used this stuff before. And ever since I started, man, I can't get over the color. It's fabulous, and I need a little bit more of it out onto my palette over here. So let's see where I put the little tube. Is that it right there? Oh, that's it right there. I'll even get to show you what it looks like. How about that? Dioxazine purple. I'm pretty sure I'm saying it right. Dioxazine purple. Super awesome little color. And you need a fair amount of it, especially if you're going to try to layer it thickly as an undercolor. Okay? Let's get in here. Grab our little palette up, get back into that. Oh, yes, it's super thick. And that way it'll show real bright purplish when we hit it with our white. If you spread it out too thin, then it's not going to show very purple when we're hitting it with our white paint. I've already hit this side one time. I can feel it just on the brush. But let's cover the whole back side of our little moon over here, just with that purple color, just so we know we've gone over the entire canvas with some paint, right? Put it on there, spread it out. You can spread it out in a little fan pattern if you need to, just to get it on there. Spread all over the place. Let's even take one little purpley bit. Let's just run it through, bang, right through that crimson. Just because, just cut it in half, right? not everything has to be the most perfectest of all stuff out there in the galaxy. We've got a little bit of broken cloud out there, or a little star nursery or something. That purple color is going to change it. It's going to be fantastic, you guys. One more little thing. Let's take that bit of purple and we're going to put it on the back side. Right? And we're going to work it towards the front. And that way we're going to have one little soft little purpley planet way out here. Because Eternity's colors are purple and pink. And if it's not just my two favorite, my most used colors, I figured we should have a fantastic scene for her out here, right? Super sad. I don't even know what I would do. Let's work from the back towards the front. I don't even know what I would do if I was in the same situation as her parents. My God, I just pray for you guys so hard. I don't even know. I would not be able to function anymore. So, gonna do my very best to make this one the most prettiest painting we've ever done. Right? Now that we've got our undercolors out, let's hit our white paint. I'm gonna save this, right? It's got our clear, and it's initially our white gesso. I don't know if I'm gonna color it, maybe slightly blue, something like that, but we'll figure it out as we go. In any case, we've got to get some white and we've got to wash off these brushes because these brushes are now too full of paint to work with anymore. Right? One time, welcome to the show, everybody. It's Paint with Josh. We're back in the studio with you today, and a very, very, very special little painting that we're going to be doing that's already all prepped out with all the colors that we already need, right? We've got our Indian yellow and our little patch right here, then our madder carmine color from Meaden, and then our dioxazine purple around the edge. All the planets and the little star bit right here in the front were already pre-done with acrylic gesso, just like this before we colored them in. Got our little bridge of eternity out here, and we're gonna be painting a scene for a family who lost their 11-year-old daughter, and it's like literally the saddest thing I think I've ever, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it through the show. Literally, so we're gonna take a little bit of our white, we've got all of our colors, our clear underneath, got the colors on the top, and then our acrylic is way, way, way down, right? So let's take a little bit of our white. Let's come out here and start to brighten up this little area. Now, there's not much Indian yellow. We left the inside particularly blank of color, so it would stay very bright white, right? The more that we mix it out into the Indian yellow section, the more yellowy it will become, right? So the more white that's in there and the more empty space that we have, the brighter it's gonna be, right? All of that initial acrylic ends up getting covered by our oil paints because we go back and layer them on so many times, right, in order to achieve our brightness level that we like. So let's come out here, grab a little bit more of our white, come back, pop it right in the center again. Instantly, you can see it brighten up, right? And we pop some out this way and pop some out that way. Just let it erupt in the brightest brightness of the galaxy. Just literally staring into eternity. Bang. Right there, right? The more and more you add to it, the brighter and brighter and brighter it gets, and we can allow it to stretch out even further the more that we push on it with our little brush, right? Another little section of white, bang, right inside again. Very, very, very light pressure. The lighter pressure, the more white it's going to be. The more pressure that you give it, the more it's going to dissipate, and you might end up seeing through it, right? So, let's get a little bit more out here. Pop it on a little brighter, right? The more you keep going, the brighter it gets. I literally want it to be as bright as white snow, as bright as canvas, as white canvas, right? A little bit of that color out this way, stretch it out that way, right? Very lightly, not trying to drag any of those other colors through. And then we can really take a nice little thin Paint with Josh 1-inch brush, and very lightly on the edges, start to blend that guy. So softly. The Paint with Josh 1-inch brushes are coming soon, you guys. They're coming very soon. We're literally building the packaging as we speak. Popping off another little bit here, there, little star pattern, right? A little brighter, just so we can extend that color a little bit more. And watch this, the more paint that you drag out there, the more it's gonna start turning into different things. Right? Very lightly, dragging it out from the center into this little blinding shape of light. It's not the most prettiest thing you've ever seen in your life. Very soft, very small amount of paint on the brush. Very, very, very light-handed, right? So light, so soft. Bang. Gorgeous. Goodness gracious, I'm happy with that one. Now, let's get up here into the purpley pinky area, just using the smallest amount of white we can possibly use on a very, very, very small brush. You don't need anything crazy out here, right? Let's see if we wanted something to come rocking through, down through the galaxy, around the edge, trying to catch some of that purple, some of that pinkish color down in there. As we blend it, it will hit all that pink. I don't want to let it get too close down there. If we had a little galaxy-shaped head or some sort of something, right? You gotta put it out there. And look at all that gorgeous purple color that's shining through underneath. And the less that we mix it, the brighter it will be, right? The more we mix it down, the more dark it will become. So the difference back here, the more you're mixing it in with those darker colors, the darker that paint is gonna become like that. And then we can decide, maybe out here, maybe you wanna continue it, push it a little harder, get it to stretch a little further than we had initially put that paint down. Very lightly around the planets and into the pink. Oh, if it's just not the most fantastic. Leave a little gap right there too. Why not? Not everything has to be the most brightest and most fantastic thing in the galaxy you've ever seen, right? Weird little bits happen out there where the stars like to grow literally forever. The life and death of the stars are literally endless. We are all made up of the same stuff, the same dust. It's literally mind-blowing when you think about it. Push on this guy a little bit harder so you can spread that further. There's basically no paint on our brush, right? But there is that purple paint, and you get that little bit of brightness to just extend. You can decide how bright you want it to be, of course, all based on you guys. Whew, this one's turning out fantastic. Look at that. Just excellent, you guys. In here, gonna push a little harder, drag that little paint around. Not everything has to be so supremely dark or so supremely bright when you're out there, right? Little bits. Very cool. Just adds that depth of the galaxy. So neat. All right, let's get a little fan brush. And let's come around this other side. And again, start it real heavy in the corner and then fade it into that center bit in there. All right, so we should get those same looking colors. We have our purplish pinkish thing, and what if this guy was just a little crazier, right? Just a flat little thing out here in the night, just popping in a little color, and we know it's going to grow in different directions, right? So let's take a clean, dry brush. Let's grab it. Obviously, we don't want to work it too far down to the brightness, so maybe we take our circles and go in reverse, make them clockwise circles. Again, blending that soft amount of paint just so lightly, maybe dragging some of it from that side over to this side, just to help it, right? Don't really want to nick our star too much. Pushing on it, get to spread it out into the most fantastic thing you've ever seen. My goodness, right? The more you push back here, the less and less and less color will show because it gets darker. It starts to blend in with all those paints. The deep purple back in there. Oh, just fantastic, you guys. I love it. Just love it. Ba-boom. Remember, we're filming a tutorial for this one as well, so if you're like, man, I wish I could see how he did the beginning colors or whatever, I've got it all on video. It'll be over there on my YouTube page in just about, I don't know, maybe by Wednesday, we can get it touched up over there. Bang, pop that guy, we'll connect those whole little pieces. Come out here again with our 1-inch brush and drag it down. Drag it up and drag it down and drag it back away from our bright star. Letting it just get darker and darker and darker and darker and darker. Look at all that purple back there. Oh, it's fabulous, you guys. Now, I want to add in one little section over here we like to call the Pillars of Creation. My version of them anyway. And they're going to rock over our bridge, and then we're going to make our bridge stand out again against them. I'm going to take one little bit of our color back in here, though. Just a little touch of white on the brush. And I'm talking about the smallest little bit. Because we know we got to brighten this area up and then push it and really stretch it. Just to get that little bit of background color back there is all we really need. All right? The less color that we have on our brush, the darker our galaxy will become. Holy moly. Oh, shaving cream, you guys. That is crazy. Let's come up here. We know we got a bright star. We know we got a bright star. We know we got a bright star. So let's come out just real vertical on our fan brush, right? We want to make them look odd. Not everything has to all be the same color, the same amount of brightness. We don't want everywhere to touch, right? We can go over our little bridge. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Oh, look at those cool little things out there. All right, and we know as we start to mix it, we drag these guys straight up first. So again, pushing a little bit of that purple over that star just adds so much depth and distance for eternity. Literally is how far that distance is. It's amazing. Out here, over there, mixing it up, pulling it down, blending it, getting it real fine and faded and dark down around the bottom, right? This guy will streak him up. Not everything's got to be the same height, the same level, or whatever, right? Nothing out there matters. You come out here, you can do so many different things out in the galaxy. Let's do another guy up here. That's a real crazy tall little guy. All right, a couple little streaks, a little bit of extra paint will help it grow a little further. Maybe we take this guy down and we'll push it a little bit more down there and we'll mush all that color around. All we're really doing, dropping out some color, streaking it upwards, right? All those little crazy little bits. Nothing even has to be the same. Or we can come in and literally demolish it and mush it and push it and blend it all over the galaxy. Right? You could necessarily have a little, look at that, oh my. It's like a purplish pinky pad. This is why we leave it white and we don't choose a color prior, because you can literally make it whatever color you want it to be. My goodness, if that's not the prettiest thing I've ever seen. Literally the most gorgeous. The most fantastic little thing. Now, the reason that we're putting all this background color back here is so we can add our asteroids and stuff, and they'll really stand out and give us depth and distance for miles. Oh, that's so fantastic. My goodness, got this soft little mist around our bridge of eternity where we can walk out just for days, years, eons. Fabulous. Sweet. All right, let's put in one more little bit of a little, maybe that's a little more of a closer up cloud as we came out here. Not necessarily connected to that guy. Maybe it rolls in underneath. Who knows? Pushing it back a little bit. Right? All the distance in the universe we can play with out here. Out there, over here, blending it back, letting it get darker and darker as it blends towards the bridge of eternity. So speaking of, is our buyer here? Because we're going to need a name for the painting. And of course, it's up to them to name it. Now, the initial commission said definition of eternity, which may end up being the name if that's so what they wanted to choose. I'm thinking more towards bridge of eternity because we've got our bridge here. But again, always, forever and ever, it's always up to the purchaser of the painting. So if you're here, make yourselves known and let us know what we want to do with this guy. Oh, man. As far as a name, look at those clouds, the bridge. Oh, just headed out to the celestial kingdom. I love it. London's here, everybody. What do you think so far, London?
It's very dark in here.
Very dark. Yeah, I got to keep everything blacked out. All right, what was I doing? We're going to throw some stars in real quick. All right, let's get a little bit of our liquid white. And let's come over the edge right here. Oh, look at that big old chunk. That you don't want. That's like a boulder. What is going on?
I am so sorry. Aaron is here, by the way.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Is he liking it so far? Is my question. You gotta get out and just...
He said no because it's in your house and not his.
He really said that?
No, he said he loves it.
Oh, copy. Copy. All right. Oh, man. I don't think we need many more than that, you guys. Just a couple little flicks. And then we'll start throwing in our asteroid pieces to cover up some of these light areas, right? We need to make up our mix of 3 favorite colors.
Aaron says my daughter would have loved it too.
Oh, that's going to make me cry. Gotta get our blue out.
What are you watching on right?
That's the intro. That's the end of the intro song.
I know. It's just funny. funny that it's on that picture.
Okay. Whoop. Got a little bit of our blue, black, and crimson right out here. And then you want to mix them up so thoroughly that you can't really tell. Are you leaving?
Yeah, I don't need to be here.
Oh, okay. Bye.
What do I need to be here for?
No reason.
Exactly. I have returned your vehicle.
Okay, thank you. Where are the keys at? Oh, I see them. Okay, thank you. Love you, bye. All right, so we're gonna mix up our 3 favorite colors just like this. And then, remember, you're gonna be able to rewatch this over on YouTube. Full-length tutorial, amazing. Over here, I can't wait to put it together. Let's take our bit of our asteroidal mix, right? Our blue, black, and crimson. We come mix it up, we scoop it up, and then we literally come out here and start making some crazy shapes, right? Doesn't have to be perfect. It's a literal rock that's floating out in the night. Maybe some of them are turned on a different angle, right? Where are we aiming? We're aiming for the brightest points in the sky. So maybe there, maybe out here, definitely down here in the front. And the closer that we get to us, right, the bigger they can be. So if we're out here, seemingly as close to the edge as we can get, this guy can end up being a bit bigger than his other buddy over there, right? Just based off of everything's rotating around our star, our bridge of eternity out here. So let's pop in with the small edge of the knife, maybe out in the distance, so small, maybe just right in there, that you might not even ever see it. That small, right? On here, push it a little bit harder, and let's make our little Gandalf and the potato, this little guy, right there. That's a potato shape if I've ever seen one. The potato asteroid. One more little bit way up top. And he's a little long little thing, but he's small. He's further away. He's floating around out here in the night. All right, and we got one more little guy. You can use your small section of your knife to make big asteroids as well, right? And they have to just be the same thing over and over again. And maybe if we make this guy a little bit bigger, he might seem a little closer to us. Make our guy back there a little bit further away. I'm thinking just one at least over here and maybe right there, right? Just right in the brightest parts, because those are going to be right where you look. And so you want to have that bit of extra depth out there. Now let's come in, mix up a little bit of our madder carmine and our white just to make our little pinky highlight, right? Enough of our titanium white, enough of the madder carmine, just to be thick enough, right? Remember, the Meeden paint is a lot thinner than our normal paints are. So you have to mix it with some of our titanium white as well. Maybe since we've got pink on pink right here, why don't we go pink on purple? And we'll tap off these little guys, just little bits. The more that we tap into it, the softer it will get, the more it will dull itself down and become a darker color, because that plaque mix under there is doing the job, right? It doesn't need to be all super pink brightness everywhere. You gotta have those dark spaces, especially the underside has to be dark. Let's get out here with a little of our white, little of our brown as well, because we gotta have some regular colored rocks as well. See, that's too much brown or too much white. So let's go a little bit of our darker brown. There we go, right in there. Mix the knife up, pull it down flat, little bits. Maybe this guy, because he's close enough, right? Come out here and literally start tapping and then removing our knife. Like that, tap, tap. You can even hear the suction cup it makes. It's like, perfect, perfect. Get out here, we gotta get some brown on our Gandalf and the potato out here, right? But now our light source, instead of being all on the top, is pretty much on the front side of this little guy. So we can do one little tap. Then we can tap along his bottom side, leaving our brown, having the darkness around the top, based off where the light is coming from. So what about this guy? Where do you think we're gonna highlight him? Are we gonna put the brown on the top up here, or are we gonna put it on the bottom? You guys let me know in the comments right now. Type it out. Where would you put your color if it was there? Say it's not even brown, say it's a little pink guy, right? We're gonna put it on the bottom side because the light is shining from underneath, right? Always gotta worry about where your light's coming from. It's the biggest thing in the galaxy. Where does my light come from? Whether you're painting a landscape or an ocean scene or a galactic space scene, right? All up to us. Where the light is has to be where our shadows are thrown, right? Now, let's get a little bit of our purple. Hey, go lay down, you crazy dogs. What the heck they're trying to do over here? See how instantly that really deep dark purple went instantly bright because we added too much white? Just crazy how bright things can get very, very quickly, right? Spread out our purple color. Now I want to, off of our biggest other guy over here, right? Throw a little bit of purple onto him. Start tapping at it, making it darker, leaving our darker space out there. Oh, that's a cool looking shape, if you ever asked me. Oh, there's so many little gouges and little things inside of him, right? But if it ever gets too bright for you, say you're like, oh, I don't know if that's the right thing, right? Or come in, maybe add in a couple horizontal dark lines. Blacking out certain sections will give you different little shadows on your things, right? So maybe, hey, just like that, we've all of a sudden changed up the shape and almost looks like a little two-pieced thing now, right? Where you go back in and you tap on at a little different angle, change the shape of it again, but you always have to leave those little dark areas out there. I'm telling you, the spaces in between the brightness is what gives it its depth, right? Now we got one more little piece over here, and it's just about the size of our knife. Let's go with the purple. Couple taps, right? Little baby taps, a little bit of space in between. Not everything has to be perfect. Man, if that's not fantastic. All right, let's get a little bit on our liner brush, a little more liquid white. And some of these further away stars, we'll go into our titanium white as well, because we don't just want to use just pure liquid white, even if it's the smallest amount of titanium white. Okay, let's get out here. And some of these stars had a little bit of aura around them because they were a little bigger, right? We knew they'd be bigger than our liner brush was. So we could come in here, pop in a little spot of brightness, right? Right in the, with that little pink aura around it. Oh, it's fantastic. I know we had one up here too. There he is, just a little, boop, right? Those little guys are gonna stand out among some of our bigger flicks and our different things out there. You get these bright stars. Now we have to add in our signature. And, ooh, we almost forgot about our one. Actually, you know what? Our one guy right here doesn't even need a highlight because it's so bright. Right, so close to that star. Even if we did, it would be the smallest little bit of brown on top. So you barely even tell. Man, that's cool. Okay, so we got to start coming up with a title for this painting. Right? Oh, little pinky little guy out there. I love it. Start coming up with a title for this painting, right? What would you want it to be called? And then the person that purchased it gets to choose its final name. Right, we're going to come out here. We're going to first throw down the signature, and then we'll put the birds on there. Now, I was going to ask our buyer as well, how many, did you want to add? Do you want to add? Well, I mean, literally, eternity is here, right? So we don't really have to encapsulate her as a bird in the painting. It's more that's her. You know what I mean? That's eternity for me, anyway. So let's add our little spacey bird signature way out here. Right? Just flying through the night. Man, oh, I really like this one, you guys. Really, really, really like it. Well, guys, I can't wait to see your versions of this painting. Please send it into facebook.com/officialpaintwithjosh. And until I see you guys again next time, take care. Have the rest of a good day, and bye-bye.